Well, Thanksgiving may be over, but I'm still thankful for horror movies. Well, as I said, Thanksgiving 2023 is in the history books, but it is that time again. It's time for my monthly unboxing and discussion of all the wonderful things I've gotten from the HorrorPack company. These are the November 2023 DVD and Blu-ray HorrorPacks, and while I open those up, let me just remind you all the sort of bookkeeping things that I always go through. In case you're new here, first of all, welcome. But HorrorPack is the horror movie subscription service. For now, there's a DVD and a Blu-ray option, and I get both of them. As I've mentioned in my previous video, which you should go and see in case you've missed it, the DVD HorrorPack is coming to an end at the end of the year, but they're still active for now, so I'm still opening them up and discussing what I find. The Blu-ray HorrorPack will be continuing, and in every Blu-ray HorrorPack there is some kind of HorrorPack exclusive Blu-ray. Those are always a treat to find. And just so you know what we're up to in this video, every month as I get these HorrorPacks, I open them up, I discuss whatever I find inside. I don't know what these movies are, so you will find out at the same time as I do. I then discuss them, and then it won't be in this video, but in a future video, I will review all of these movies after I've had a chance to watch them. That video will be coming just after the end of the year, after I've gotten the December packs, and I'll review all of the ones that I've gotten. And then, as I mentioned in my previous video, I'll be moving forward in a slightly different format in 2024. That's neither here nor there for this video. For this video, we're going to be discussing these. As always, I will be putting purchase links down in the What's It, so in case you're interested in getting a copy of any of these movies for yourself, you can find them down there. That's also where you can do other things like checking out my other projects. You can check out my publishing house, buy my books, all kinds of good stuff, so check that out. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that YouTube-y stuff. But with all of that out of the way, let's get to what we're really here for, and that is to open up these wonderful little white packages and see what wonderful movies we have for this November. In the past, I've always started by opening up the DVD packs, and for as long as those remain available, as long as we're still getting those, I see no reason to break from tradition, so this is the DVD pack. Let's dive in and see what we have in the DVD offerings. The first of which is A Deadly Place. This is a collection. It says it's 10 frightening films. The little tagline or caption says, "Terror lurks around every corner." And on the back it says, "There's no way out once you enter," and then it lists off the films. Let me just read through all of that and see what 10 films are offered in this one. The first is called Cardiac Arrest. It says, "A serial killer is plaguing San Francisco, surgically removing the hearts of his victims. Assigned to the case is a weak-stomached homicide detective who investigates black market organ transplants." I'll tell you what, that is not the job you want if you have a weak stomach, but it should make for an entertaining film. The next one is called The Dead Hate the Living, and the description says, "A group of filmmakers making a horror film find a prop that's too good to pass up." I understand all about that. After accidentally opening a portal to another dimension and awakening the dead, their fiction becomes a ghastly reality. Then we have Don't Go in the House. It says, Donnie Kohler, a young man who was burned as a child by his sadistic mother, begins to act upon long-dormant psychosis by stalking women with a flamethrower and luring them into his decaying house. All right. We then have Shrunken Heads, the description of which says, when 3 New York kids are murdered, the local Haitian voodoo priest reanimates their shrunken heads to exact revenge. Complications arise between one of the heads and his former girlfriend. Well, we've all been there, what can I say? We then have a film called With Friends Like These, the description of which says, this anthology recounts the tales of 3 seemingly unconnected individuals. Narrated by Norman Fell, the lives of Alex, Frank, and Susan are wildly disrupted by anomalous entities. Then there's Day of the Animals, the description of which says, the depletion of the Earth's ozone layer causes animals above the altitude of 5,000 feet to run amok, which is unfortunate for a group of hikers dropped off by helicopter just before the quarantine. I live more than 5,000 feet above sea level, so that's bad news for me, I suppose. We then have Deadly Instincts, which says, after a meteorite crashes on a college campus, an alien preys upon the students and staff. When law enforcement proves incompetent, Professor Ashley Rowe must take matters into his own hands. And then there's Grimm, which says, after a series of strange and unsolved disappearances, mining expert Rob and a group of friends investigate the caves of Woodland Hills, Virginia. Followed by a film called Tunnels, which says, two investigative reporters track down reports of giant rats in a city sewer system. And finally, we have a film entitled You're Driving Me Crazy. And the description there says, among the afflicted in a mental ward are a young man who believes his parents are from outer space, a murderous television producer, and a fashion photographer obsessed with a motivational record. So there we have 10 films, and I don't believe I have actually seen any of these, which is a real treat. A lot of times when you get these collections, you find maybe there's one or two new ones that you've never seen, or sometimes never even heard of, along with some that you do know. A lot of times you end up with several classics that show up on a lot of these anthology collections just because they're either cheap or in public domain, so it's easy for these collectors to put them in these collections. But in this case, it's all new to me, which is wonderful. I do like these collections because they give me an opportunity, even if maybe I don't like one or two of them, there's usually an opportunity here to discover something that I didn't know before that I'm really glad that I found. So I'm looking forward to diving into all 10 of these and see which ones really do it for me. Next, out of the DVD pack, we have a film entitled Jekyll and Hyde. This is a particular telling of Jekyll and Hyde that I'm not familiar with. I don't know this film, but of course I know Jekyll and Hyde very well. I think we all are at least aware of the story, even if we haven't read the source material. By the way, if you haven't read it, you should go and read it. But let's read the description on this particular one and see, is this a straight retelling? Is this a modernization? Is this loosely inspired by? Let's find out. The description on the back says, good and evil will collide. Gabriel Utterson discovers that his longtime friend, Dr. Henry Jekyll, has become involved with a mysterious and dangerous man named Edward Hyde. He slowly uncovers a dark secret that defies both science and nature, one that leaves a trail of murder and crime in Victorian England, a faithful and chilling adaptation of the legendary horror classic. So there we go. This is, in fact, a straight film adaptation of the classic written work, and I am all kinds of excited about that because as much as I like modern retellings and ones that are inspired by but take it in new directions, those are always fun. But I also like to see ones that go straight back to the original, straight back to the source material, and give us a faithful adaptation. It sounds like that's what this is. It's not one that I've seen, but it is one that I would very much like to see, so I'm happy to have received it. Next, we have a film entitled Ouija Shark. This is a film of which I was aware. I have not yet seen it, but the title, I think, tells you everything that you need to know. This is another one of those kind of really cheesy, over-the-top kind of sharksploitation films, and I'm all for it. It says on the back that this is from the studio that brought you The Velocipaster, which I have seen, and the director of Jurassic Shark, which I may have seen or I may not have, because a lot of the shark movies sort of run together in my mind. In any case, this was one that I was aware of, and I've been wanting to watch it, so I'm thrilled to have gotten a copy. Let's go ahead and read this description, which says, a group of teenage girls summon an ancient, man-eating shark after messing with a spirit board that washes up on the beach. An occult specialist must enter the shark's realm to rid this world of the deadly spirit ghost once and for all. Tells you pretty much everything we need to know. I am all kinds of excited about this one. You know, I got a pretty busy day ahead of me, or a pretty busy night, I should say, but this one might have to go into the DVD player just as soon as I finish recording this, because this is the kind of thing that I'm not going to call great cinema. I mean, it could be, but I'm assuming this is not great cinema. But God knows I love this kind of stuff from time to time. It's the sort of thing that is best enjoyed with what we might call an adult beverage. Have a glass of scotch, watch this movie, should be a great time. And finally, out of the DVD pack, we have a film entitled Dollhouse. The little tagline here says, "Evil comes in all forms." This is, in fact, a true statement, and we've all seen evil dolls before. This is a particular film that I don't believe I have seen, so let's read the description and see what we're in for. It says, a care home for child runaways takes in an 11-year-old girl, her only belongings a doll, and a mysterious doll house. She refuses to speak and won't ever let go of her doll. As the days pass, the residents start to disappear, while the dollhouse steadily gains new inhabitants. So I think we know where this is going. That is a kind of story that I think we've seen before. We've seen evil dolls, we've seen doll houses, we've seen people disappearing and reappearing inside of things like doll houses before, and presumably that's what's happening here. But it still sounds like a pretty good one, and I'm keen to try this one. So that's pretty good. That's 4 films, or because one of them is this collection, actually 13 films, none of which I believe I have seen, and all of which sound quite interesting. So the DVD pack may be coming to an end, but it seems to be ending with a bit of a bang, because this is a wonderful package, and I'm looking forward to all of these. But of course, we're not finished. It's time to transition over to the Blu-ray pack. That's this right here. Alright, so let's see what the Blu-ray offerings are. The first is Rings. This is, of course, a sequel to The Ring, which may be a little bit dated these days for a lot of the younger people who may be watching this. But I still maintain it's an excellent horror film, and I think it still holds up all these years later. However, I've not seen this sequel, so let's read the description. I know a little bit about it, but let's read the description anyway and see what we're in for. It says, discover the terrifying new chapter in the groundbreaking Ring franchise. When a radical college professor finds the mysterious video rumored to kill viewers 7 days after watching, he enlists his students in a dangerous experiment to uncover the secrets behind the Samara legend. When the deadly video goes viral, they must figure out a way to break the curse and defeat Samara before her evil is unleashed upon the world. But how do you stop her when she's everywhere? So it sounds like that is an updating of the idea of the Ring and bringing it into the contemporary social media kind of age. Personally, I'm not sure if that's going to be as effective, because I think the idea of the evil being on a thing. In The Ring, it was a videotape. A way of updating it might have been a DVD or a Blu-ray or something like that. For sure, a lot of people are watching things online. Thank you very much, since you're watching my stuff. But I'm not sure if putting Samara on the internet, if going viral, is going to be as effective as the more localized kind of horror. But it is nevertheless an interesting idea. Sequels are frequently not as good as the original, so let's say I'm cautiously optimistic, but it is one that I have not seen. It is a sequel to a great film, so very interesting, very much interested in seeing what it's actually like. All right, let's see what's next. Next we have a film entitled Kill Her Goats. This is one that I have not seen, but I'm aware of it. I saw some trailers, and this looks like the kind of crazy thing that I'm going to very much enjoy. It says on the back that Kane Hodder kills in Kill Her Goats. So Kane Hodder is, of course, horror royalty, and putting his name on it lends a lot of credibility. The description on the back says, Audra's graduation gift is her dream house, but it soon becomes a living nightmare when some uninvited guests come to her homecoming party who aren't very subtle about the fact that they don't approve of the home's new owner. That doesn't really tell us a lot, but if you watch the trailer for this, don't click away from my video for God's sake, but at some point if you go and watch the trailer for this, you'll see that this really looks crazy and it should be a lot of fun. It's one that's been on my list for a while. I've been wanting to watch this, haven't had a chance to do so yet, so once again, the wonderful HorrorPack people are bringing me some things that I've been wanting to see, so thumbs up. Next, third from the Blu-ray pack, we have a film entitled Nazi Undead. I think we know where we're going. This must be some kind of a Nazi zombie movie. There seem to be quite a few of those out there, and a lot of time they're really entertaining. This particular one is not one with which I'm familiar, though I am, of course, familiar with the subgenre. Let's go ahead and read the description and see what sort of new twist this one might put on it. It says, a young American couple venture into the heartland of Germany for a romantic holiday. Things take a sinister turn when they encounter the ghost of a Nazi SS officer at an isolated farmhouse, thrusting them into a vortex of horror. And then it's got a little tagline that says, his house, your nightmare. So instead of Nazi zombies, I guess this is a ghost of a Nazi, so it's a little bit different from what I thought it was, but it should nevertheless be an entertaining watch. It's another one that I've never even heard of this particular one, so I don't really know anything about it, but one thing that I've said about a lot of these horror packs is part of what I love about having the mystery box or the subscription service is they bring me some things that I haven't heard of and might not have heard of otherwise, and a lot of them end up being great, so let's hope this is another one of those. And finally, we come to what I can only imagine must be the HorrorPack exclusive Blu-ray. Drumroll, please. That exclusive is Dude Bro Party Massacre 3. This is another one that I'm very excited about. It's HorrorPack exclusive number 89. And this is not a film that I have seen, and I'm ashamed to admit that for reasons that I'll mention in a moment, but it is one that I'm familiar with, which is unusual for these exclusives. Usually they're ones that I've not even heard of. This one I have heard of. I can tell you it's Dude Bro Party Massacre 3. There is no 1 or 2. This is the only one. Let me just read the description and then we'll talk about it. It says, a satirical twist on the gory and sexually charged 1980s slasher genre, Dude Bro Party Massacre 3 is presented as the only surviving VHS copy of the reviled horror franchise's third and final installment. In the wake of 2 back-to-back mass murders on Chico's frat row, loner Brent Chirino must infiltrate the ranks of a popular fraternity to investigate his twin brother's murder at the hands of the serial killer known as Motherface. As they are picked off one by one, Brent and his fellow Dude Bros must face the terrifying reality that their deadly foe, believed to have been killed twice, has returned from the grave, again, and is hell-bent on the destruction of the Delta Buys. So, I think you kind of know what kind of crazy stuff you're in for. Part of the reason that I know about this one, a couple of things. One, it's one of those that I had just heard about sort of through the grapevine over the years. But then several months back, I had the opportunity to interview the people behind this film on the podcast that I co-host with my partner in crime at the Rocky Mountain Paranormal Research Society. You can listen to that, and there will be a link down in the What's It as well. It's at doyoulikescarymovies.com, because somehow we managed to get that domain name. Anyway, you should be listening to our podcast. This was one that we did a couple months back. It was a good episode. Somehow I managed to interview them and get through the interview having not yet seen their film. And in the months since, I've just been too busy and I haven't gotten around to it yet. So now I'm very happy to have finally gotten a copy, because the streaming services are nice, but I really like to have a real copy in my hands, and I'm glad that I now have one. So this is a winner all around. And so there we go. We have 8 new discs, but actually 17 new films because of that collection. And yeah, looking back over them again, I have not actually seen any of these, which usually I've at least seen one, or at least a lot of times I've seen one. I really like that I've not seen any of these. I am really looking forward to watching all of them. And of course, as I mentioned at the beginning, I will be reporting back with my reviews of these and all of the other ones that I've been getting from HorrorPack as soon as I've watched these, and as soon as I've watched the December ones that should be coming in about a month. So stay tuned, probably early January-ish, for my mass review when I discuss these and all of the other films. Do stick around for all kinds of other wonderful horror stuff on this channel. There's a lot of stuff about movies, but it's not all about movies. I talk about books and games and everything else, so make sure you've subscribed and rung that notification bell so that you can easily stay tuned. But now I've got some movies to watch, I've got some work to do, so I'm going to head off and do those things. And for y'all, I guess all that I really need to say, as always, is take care and stay scared.